Hello, my name is John Burris. I'd like to welcome you to this short video. This video is called The Fitness Myth Part 2, The Myth of Cardio. In this short video I'll be explaining some of the cultural myths around the heart and exercise and fitness, and perhaps give you some new ideas to think about. If you'd like some more information about this, you can always go to my Part 1 on my YouTube channel, and that's called The Fitness Myth Part 1, The Myth of Strength Training. In this particular video, we explore more about the heart and cardiovascular fitness, and does it really work and protect your heart from any kind of heart attack or heart disease. So that's what we explore in this video, and I'm hoping to give you some new information to live and exercise by. For much of our life, we believe the experts. And who are those experts? Scientists and editors of magazines and whatnot, media personalities, sports figures, and they tell us what to do. We mostly just follow along without ever questioning, is that really true or not? So we'll be examining some of those myths today. For example, one of the myths is it's called health and fitness. Well, they're actually two different things. Health is about your function of your body, the organs, the glands, how well you sleep, how well you digest, your emotional life, and whatnot. Fitness is more about the shape of your body, how tight your body is, how much you can exercise and whatnot. Fitness is more associated with more of the cosmetic world and how you look rather than how you feel. So we often confuse the two, and hopefully today we'll shed some new light on what the truth of that is. Most people who exercise do pretty much two different things: strength training and cardiovascular fitness, because that's what they're told to do. They don't do very much stretching or other things. They don't do a lot of rehab work, so they do cardio and strength training. So let's talk a little bit about cardio and where it came from, and does it really work or not. So cardio came in 1968. A NASA scientist named Dr. Kenneth Cooper wrote a book called Aerobics. And in that book, he explained why we all needed to get out and run and aerobicize and tennis and jogging and whatnot, or else we would die of heart attacks. So it became a mandate. And in Dr. Cooper's book, he explained that we all needed to do this. So he created the famous theory, 220 minus your age equals your maximum heart rate. They're all supposed to get out 4 or 5 days a week and do between 60 and 80% our maximum heart rate, or else we'll die of heart attacks. It became a mandate in society. In fact, today, when I go to my medical doctor, she still says, "How much cardio are you doing?" And I usually say, "Oh, not that much." And if I do, it's by accident. I'm out fun playing tennis or pickleball, playing frisbee, and if I get cardio, it's often by accident. But this mandate pervaded through culture, became the running culture, the tennis culture, and the aerobic culture, and the marathons, the triathlons, the 10Ks, the 5Ks, and we all got out because we were told we needed to get cardiovascular fitness or our hearts would die. So that's what we're still doing. And no one ever challenged the fact that, is it true or not? So we step back in time a little bit. We've always moved our bodies. Since the day one of being human beings, we hunted, we foraged, we climbed trees, we ran around, we fished, we used our bodies to survive. And then what happened when we became a sedentary culture with more technology and automobiles and airplanes and office work, we had to do artificial movement, which is called exercise. And part of that artificial movement is strength training and cardiovascular fitness. So it was in 1628 that an Englishman named William Harvey discovered that the heart was actually a pump, and it pumped the blood through the body. Well, what's happening today, we still believe the heart's just a stupid pump, and it's just good to pump the blood through the body. And what we're supposed to be doing is strengthening the heart so it pumps more blood through the body, and that way we're supposed to be healthy. Well, is that really working or not? Out of the cardiovascular culture became an industrial complex. It became health clubs and fitness centers and gymnasiums and sports science and medical doctors and all kinds of studies and tests telling us we needed to go out and get our cardio in. So that's what we've been doing. And so now you have supplement companies and you have apparel companies and you have shoe companies that are all cashing in on their cardio myth. And they all believe we're supposed to get out and get our cardio every week or else our heart will fail. And so we're tempted every day to buy more supplies and products to keep the cardio myth going. It's interesting to note that even today, more women have heart attacks than men. According to the American Heart Association, being male is a risk factor for heart disease and heart attacks. So along with high cholesterol or smoking or obesity, being male is still listed as a risk factor for heart attacks. Yet more women have heart attacks now than men. So what's going on there? It's interesting to note, out of the 8 billion people on the planet, most of them don't do cardiovascular fitness. Now, they may move around more than we do in Western culture. They may walk to work, or they may ride a bicycle to work, or they may climb trees to grab their food or whatnot. But out of the 8 billion people on the planet, they don't go jogging or running every day after work to get their cardio in. So it's kind of interesting how only some people in our culture somehow need cardio, and everybody else in society doesn't really need it. So what came to my attention years ago when I started looking at this topic was I saw stories. For example, I read a book by a woman named Peg Jordan, who wrote a book called The Fitness Instinct. And in that book, she started to describe how, as an emergency room nurse, she started seeing every day all these fit young men being wheeled in with heart attacks. And alarmed her, saying, well, if we're supposed to be cardiovascular fit to protect our hearts, why are all these fit young men being wheeled in with heart attacks? And that was a shock to me too. I've had personal experiences with friends of mine who died of heart attacks who were really fit. I've had clients of mine whose family members were professional athletes who died of heart attacks. And I started asking myself, if cardiovascular fitness really worked, this shouldn't be happening. There's something else going on here that we're not being told. I also read another story about Jim Fixx, who wrote the complete book of running. He died of a heart attack while running, and that shocked me as well. I heard stories of there was 3 well-known doctors at Johns Hopkins University, and they were all avid runners, competitive runners, and they all died of heart attacks in the same year. The oldest one was 52. So I started seeing, like, wow, all these people being cardiovascular fit, and many of them are still dying of heart attacks. Is cardiovascular fitness really working? When I started my entry into the yoga world, cardiovascular fitness was secondary. We really didn't think about it. Yet we felt very healthy and very alive, and it wasn't like we needed to do cardiovascular fitness to be healthy. So in my further studies, I started studying the emotionality of the heart. The scientific community still treats the heart as a dumb, stupid pump, but I started seeing more than that. For example, why is it that 50% of firefighters in the United States die of heart attacks? Not in fires, not in trauma accidents, but of heart attacks. Well, it might be the stress of the job. Stress is fear. Fear gets held in the heart. Why is it that, and this is really interesting, the most common time of a heart attack in America is on Monday morning between 4 a.m. and 10 a.m. And you're thinking, what, somebody forgot to do their afternoon run on Sunday night? No, because of stress and fear in their heart. That they get a little relaxed on the weekend, all of a sudden Sunday night rolls along and they start worrying about going to a job they hate, to a boss they hate, to a commute they hate, to money that's not efficient for their lifestyle. And they start worrying, and Monday morning they have a heart attack. Doctors and nurses know this who work in emergency rooms. They're extra staff for heart attacks on Monday morning. They know it's going to happen. Why is it that people are more likely to have a heart attack the week before or the week after their birthday? Because they're stressed out about getting old. So we pay little attention to the emotion of the heart. Instead, we keep trying to make the pump stronger. What's wrong with that? So here's another interesting thing about cardio. A lot of people do aerobics or they run because they want the endorphin rush. They want this rush of chemicals in their brain that makes them feel good. So here's the reality of that. That's a stress response. So if you run for 20 minutes or do aerobics, Your body releases chemicals because you're in a stress response. And in a natural world, if a bear was chasing after you, those chemicals will be released so you can get out of danger and not feel pain. Well, in the cardiovascular world, we deliberately put ourselves in a stress response. So we elicit the hormones, the runner's high, to feel high as we keep working out. So in order to get the hormones, we have to be stressed. Isn't that interesting? So in contrast, when I began to study and teach yoga and practice yoga, we try to breathe through our nose. It's called ujjayi breathing, and that breathing through the diaphragm and through the nose is a calming breath. It relaxes your nervous system. It calms you down as you're moving your body, which is directly opposite of the cardio breath, which is a stress response breath that creates a stress response in your upper chest, causing more stress hormones to be released. They're two completely different experiences. So we see now how most of society is still treating the heart as a 17th century ideology. It's just a dumb pump. Yet we see how most of our emotions and our whole life experience are stored in the heart, and we do very little to actually take care of that. So often our reality is if you keep telling a lie often enough, it will become a truth. So the more the cardiovascular myth has been spread through the media, sports figures, and whatnot, the more it became true, and no one really ever questions it. Well, maybe it doesn't work after all. And here's the icing on the cake. So in 2020, actually the year 2000, the year 2000, I read an article from Fit Magazine, April edition 2000, and the interviewer was interviewing Dr. Kenneth Cooper. Dr. Kenneth Cooper is the one who started the cardiovascular myth in 1968. So the interviewer asked Dr. Cooper, do you still believe in your theory that cardiovascular exercise is important and necessary to achieve healthy hearts? And you know what Dr. Cooper's response was? No, I no longer believe my own theory. It doesn't work. Now I'm just paraphrasing. I don't have the article in front of me. And the interviewer was astonished and said, why? Dr. Cooper responded and said, all my friends are dead. I told them they had to go out and run, and they all died of heart attacks. And I changed my mind about cardiovascular fitness. Now I recommend people go walk at any speed 3 or 4 times a week, but they don't need cardiovascular fitness to stay healthy. Why didn't the idea get out there? Why was that idea buried? Well, look at the industrial complex. If that idea got out there to the world, think how many people would lose their jobs, how much money would be lost. The gyms would be closing, and the shooting manufacturers would be shutting down, and the athletic training gear shut down because people no longer believed they needed to get their cardio in. So that idea never got out there. It got buried somewhere. But Dr. Cooper says 25, 30 years, 40 years later, he no longer believes in his cardiovascular fitness concept. Why aren't we stopping? So there you have it. Lots of compelling information, maybe updating our mythologies. I don't know if cardiovascular fitness helps protect the heart. There's lots of compelling evidence saying no, it doesn't. Even Dr. Cooper himself doesn't believe it anymore. So I'll let you decide on that one. Thank you for watching this short video. I hope I've entertained and given you some things to think about. If you'd like to learn more about me, you can visit my website at johnburris.com. Also visit my YouTube channel here for more leading edge videos and more to come. Thank you so much.